Here's the audience of 10 adults. That's everybody. All right. All right. Well, first off, I wanted to thank you all for being here today to listen to me. An old gentleman told me once here at Oma's house when I was serving him that the problem with the American education system is that children don't know anything about German culture or German food. So today I'm making that my responsibility. Germany is one of Europe's largest economies and largest population, so I figured the United States needs to know about our global surroundings and our neighbors. And since we live in New Braunfels, Texas, and I'm partially German, I felt that the German culture is very interesting to me. And the information you're going to be presented with today comes from my research and my firsthand experiences. But before we get into all those specifics, I just wanted to set up a background information of how the country was established. In the year 962, from the beginning of the 19th century, about the year 1812, Germany wasn't actually a country, it was a bunch of territories. It was just all the land, and an emperor was picked by the prince and princesses and duchess and the bishops, and it was okayed by the Pope, and he governed the land until 1812, when Napoleon lost in the War of 1812, and the Conference of Vienna made the territories into the German Confederation, and the country was born. So now Germany has a federal republic national government, so that means that the national government and the local government is separate, which is very similar to our government here in the United States, which is very interesting. Another thing I find interesting is Germany's urban and rural makeup. In the United States, we're 99% urban, meaning people live all in cities. And in Germany, it's 1/4 of the population lives in farms, and the other 75% they live in the cities. And in the cities, it's very densely populated, it's very modern. But then the other parts of the country, they live on farms these cities are older than the country is because they were the old territories. And it's very fascinating. The buildings and everything are so old. There's a 0% urban growth rate, meaning that the population in the cities and the population in the countryside doesn't change at all. And the architecture in Germany is one of the most beautiful things about the land, other than the mountains and the Rhineland and the Rhine River. It's so beautiful because the country is so old. It's a great representation of architectural history. You could have a church that has elements from the Gothic era, the Renaissance, or the Baroque era. And one of the main examples of German architecture, something that maybe some of you would recognize, is called Fachwerk. You gotta be careful when you say that one. But it's very traditional German. It means framework in English. And it's timber beams that are used to construct the building. It's very sturdy. That's how some of the buildings are older than the United States are. It's because of this very strong structure. I'm gonna show this picture right here, and I'm gonna pass this around. But it's very strong building structure. And I took those pictures when I traveled with my family to Germany, and it was just great learning about the environment there and also the behavioral culture of the people in Germany. One of the things that I found interesting was the Germans have a very formal culture, meaning that they have a set way of doing things, a set beliefs on how people should act, and they're very stubborn in their ways. You wouldn't want to say that to a German because they might take that wrong, but they are pretty stubborn. You always want to respect your elders when you're in Germany. You want to use their last name before you're invited to call them by their first name. A Mr. in English is Herr. In German, you would say Herr so-and-so. And for Mrs., it's Frau. You always want to treat everybody with respect, and the children, they're taught this in schools. They're in school year-round. It's a form of discipline that they learn in Germany. And one of the most interesting things, I think, to learn about a country is learning about their food. That's what you want to do. And in Germany, food is a big deal. The bread is the main part of breakfast and dinner. Brötchen is like what we would consider a small dinner roll. It's served with breakfast with coffee and maybe a soft-boiled egg. And dinner is pronounced Abendbrot, brot meaning bread, and it's served with sausage, cold cuts, and cheese, and some vegetables like cabbage, radishes, turnips, and of course potatoes. They're most popular vegetables. Pork is the main meat. It's one of the main things that they serve over there. And dessert is also another different world in Germany. It's not as sweet as you would expect here in the United States. You know, you have Oreos over here or something and it's like, oh, that's pretty good. But in Germany, that would be so sweet to them because they use a beet sugar, so it's not as strong. So it's healthier for you. And one of the things that Germany is best known for is their beer and wine fest. Oktoberfest is the biggest beer and wine, or it's the beer fest in Munich, and countries all around the world mimic this festival. For example, here in New Braunfels, Texas, we have Wurstfest. It's the 10-day salute to sausage, and everybody just likes to come together and celebrate their family, their community, their culture, and they like to celebrate the harvest of that year, the grapes for the wine or the hops for the beer. And another element of culture that I hold near and dear to my heart, especially today, is the German national soccer team. Today they lost against Italy in the Euro Cup championship, but there's always such a sense of pride and nationalism behind this soccer team. They've won 3 World Cups, 3 Euro League championships, and whenever they step on the field, you know the entire country of Germany and Germans all around the world are going to stand behind them and support them. That's different from here in the United States. You know, we have baseball and bowling and professional dart throwers and basketball and all these kinds of sports. In Germany, there aren't as much a variety of sports, so everybody puts all of their beliefs and faith behind this one team, and there's so much support. And that's what Germany is all about. They're all about nationalism, pride, and support. I wanted to thank you all for listening to me ramble on about Germany, and I hope you learned at least one interesting fact. Thank you.